Welcome to the Cross Border Interviews, the online show where we dive into the insights of municipal political leaders from across Canada. Now, our mission on this show is quite simple. Shine a light on the dedicated individuals who day in and day out work around their council table to shape the communities that they call home. And for today's episode, we are honored to be recording it live in person at the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association Convention in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And we sat down there with Town of Carlyle Mayor Jennifer Sedor. Across Canada, our cities, towns, villages, and rural communities are alive with stories waiting to be told. Stories of innovation and economic development, resilience in the face of the housing challenges, and the financial hurdles municipalities overcome every day. At the Cross Border Network, we bring these stories to life. From coast to coast to coast, we're connecting Canadians to the issues shaping our communities and showcasing the people working tirelessly to make them thrive. With your support, we can expand our reach, amplify more voices, and shine a light on the challenges and triumphs of municipal life. For as little as $3.99 a month, you can help us grow and continue sharing the stories that matter most. Join us today and be part of this important mission. Together, we can tell more stories, build stronger communities, and make a real difference. Support the Cross Border Network now. Visit www.crossborderinterviews.ca today. Jennifer, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about yourself and talking about your community. Before we talk about your community, I got to get to know the name behind the persona a little bit.
The name behind the persona, the name behind, the Jennifer behind the Jennifer.
The Jennifer behind it all.
The Jennifer behind it all.
Where did your sense of duty to serve your community come from, Jennifer?
So I have worked in family services for 15 years. I have lived in the town of Carlyle for over 20. I grew up in Regina to parents who were very dutiful volunteers in the community. So I brought that with me to Carlyle.
Okay.
And
I'm going to stop you right there.
Interrupt me.
I thought you were like 35, 36.
Gosh, you're great. I am.
I'm like 20 years, 15. 2 plus 2 does not equal 4 here.
You're a sweetheart. I'm 39.
Okay. So I was a little bit close, but I thought you were on the younger.
I'm the youngest councillor that has been in the history of Carlyle. So I was 26 when I was elected, and that was 13 years ago.
So what made you get involved in municipal politics, and what made you get involved in politics at such a, I would say this respectfully, young age?
Probably OCD. Actually, I just have a way I want things done. No, like for real though, when I moved to Carlyle, it was still that town that things were closed on Sunday. Right, we moved in, the playground was kind of just getting built, and that was maybe the thing that kids could do. There was some outstanding stuff, like we'd done a survey of like, what are these kids going to do after school? They're just wandering the streets. There was a curfew at 11 because everyone was acting up. We weren't driving the area the way that my husband and I, who'd come from a city, had seen it done. Okay. And so we just kind of naturally jumped in. There was an opportunity for community feedback on one of our town community plans, and the OCP that was being done at the time, like way back 2006. And it was my second year in town. And I was able to jump in and give community feedback on that. And that was like a huge foot in the door. When I had kids, that was like the moment, when you don't have kids, you can stand back. But when you have a kid, you have to talk to all the other parents and get to know the kids and all the other people in town. And all of a sudden, just like that, I was a local. Really? I wasn't just on the outside. Overnight. Just like having kids in the community, it's like, well, we need this, and we need to build that, and our children are going to need this. And you know what? We're missing that. So let's get moving in this direction and building this up. And so that's where we are. And it's just, the ball just keeps rolling. The progress is being made in our little corner of the province, and we are rolling. Gord just popped in with our stats, 227 business licenses, a little town of 1,500, but we have this massive service area, this massive tourist hub, this massive economic opportunity down in the next corner of the province, and it's beautiful.
Okay, we're going to talk about the town in a few seconds, but I want to continue on you for 2 seconds.
Oh, lovely.
Now, 13 years in public office,
Yeah.
I can imagine you've come to the realization, like every other municipal leader I've chatted with at the SUMA convention here in Saskatoon, that not every decision you make is going to be universally loved.
Fact.
How do you make those decisions then? How do you make the tough decisions knowing that not 100% of the community is going to be behind you 24/7?
Collaboration is huge. Working with your neighbors is huge. Knowing your community and what we stand for is huge. Love and compassion for your fellow community member is so important.
Yep.
Because, and we just went through this in our town where when usually a big project comes in and there's a lot involved, a lot of moving parts. People have different opinions on how this should run, on where it should go, on how it should be built, because it's a lot of money. You can only do it once.
Yeah.
How are we going to come together? And we dealt with that. We did. It was tough. But at the end of the day, here we are, 1 year later, and our community is coming together, fundraising for a common goal. But I think having those difficult conversations, allowing space for them to come out, giving grace to those that this is important to everybody, which is why we're having feelings, right? Allowing people to have a space is so important. And we've come through it as a community so that we can keep building on a great community.
Giving that room for that space is key in any municipality. But there's a thing that we often forget, and this is where my line of questioning is going to go, and I apologize, but how do you give space to people who vehemently just oppose you? Is it hard? Or do you find that people just want to be heard sometimes, and when they want to react negatively against what's going on in the community, it's just them wanting to be heard?
People react negatively when they haven't been heard.
You are right. You are 100% right.
Everyone deserves space, grace, and compassion. Everyone.
Do you find it easier to chat with people face to face rather than on social media these days?
Yes, because
Do you prefer it that way in Carlyle?
So I'm still that person that wants you to text me before you phone. Like I am that generation where I'm like, if you could just give me the heads up, because I kind of need to know.
Who is this randomly calling me?
So I do prefer that. But when we're getting to the heart and heart, like even I, who am aware of that, how you come across in a text can be taken 10 different ways. So social media is kind of a scourge in that way.
Yep.
Heart emoji, smiley thumbs up, because they could be hearing you wrong so easily. And of course, there's so much automated. I'm not going to say fake news, but it's automated. It's artificially
AI,
generated
yeah.
now that you have to be so careful. Hypervigilant. Not to mention that it's
even in smaller communities, you think so?
Even in smaller communities, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my voice in particular is one that has done a robocall quite regularly. So
what?
Have you not heard this? So the other day,
No, I have not. And this is the great thing about this show is we try not to learn. We want to learn from you because my guests don't know.
So every piece of audio that you're putting or video you're putting on the internet, AI is copying, and somewhere out there you're phoning your grandma to ask for money.
And that happened to you?
That has happened on several occasions now, where I have been in an emergency and my voice is phoning someone to need assistance. And so, as people in the public, our voices can be used, like our tone of voice can be used without our words, without our sentiments. So it's all the more important to meet people face to face, so that they know this isn't something that Jennifer would have said.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like her belief system. That it's so important.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Well, it might happen to you.
It probably has happened to me because I have enough of these interviews out there that they can take my voice.
And they need maybe 5 minutes of your voice. So
that is wild.
I know.
Was everything okay at the end?
Everything's fine. Yeah, everything. Well, as far as I know, everything is fine.
Okay.
These folks phoned me first. Like, are you really in trouble? Do you really need something? I don't. I'm good. Thank you. That was fake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, So
I'm keeping you awake at night now.
You are going to be keeping me awake at night, and I didn't sleep well last night anyway. So before I turn to the town as a whole, I have one last question for you, and it is a broad stroke question that I am finding when I'm doing these interviews, that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you would be not surprised to see about 5 to 10 people in your council chambers at a council meeting because people wanted to stay engaged. Today, I will put all the money in my pocket against all the money in your pocket that you probably don't have that many people coming into your community hall to watch your council meetings.
Unless there's an issue directly about them.
Exactly, but they're not going in there every week to pay attention. Do you find that there's an apathetic nature when it comes to municipal politics? As long as my garbage is picked up and my water's turned on, I really could care two craps about what's going on?
Yeah, so the public perspective of office right now is that as long as it's self-serving, so if it's serving me, I'm a taxpayer, what are my services?
Yep.
Are those services being delivered? I'm okay. And then we'll get the standard complaints like, how come the street sweeper's out there working? It's too late at night and I was trying to watch TV. Instead of like...
And then you look at the clock and it's 4 o'clock?
Well, no, actually it was late, but at the same time, we are so grateful that we had an operator that was able to get it done before a giant rainstorm, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's like this self-serving kind of like, as long as it's serving me, the individual, and we have our work cut out for us in bringing people back together to the table to work on some larger community issues like this addiction issue, homelessness issue. We are not outside of that in Carlyle, Saskatchewan. We do not at this time have people sleeping on our streets, but we have people sleeping on couches and we have people sleeping in cars.
You have the shadow population.
Absolutely.
So I want to turn to Carlyle as a whole, but before I do that, I just have a little preamble before I do that. This is a conversation between the mayor and myself. This is not a motion of council, not a direction of council, not a policy of council. She needs a majority of council to vote in favor of any direction, policy, or bylaw to make any administration changes. This is her opinion and her opinion alone. So with that being said...
What he said.
I will get emails. No doubt I will get emails from this question. What do you, as the mayor of your community, see as the biggest challenge or challenges facing Carlyle as of the middle of April 2025?
Aside from the economic impact of what's going on in the United States,
because you're almost a border community, right?
Yeah, we're very close to, and we're oil field.
Yep.
Is a big part of it. So any of the policies that would move to affect our oil industry, our oil and gas industry, would be detrimental. Right now, the tariffs with China are detrimental to our local agriculture.
Yep.
And so those can severely affect our region, as well as if there's a drop in tourism. We're a big tourist community in the summer, big cottage country area.
We're going to talk about that in a few seconds.
But the underlying boiling issue is that we do have people who are requiring more help than our services are able to support in terms of regional capacity in hospitals, in terms of keeping our doctors present, in terms of our policing being available. So having, I do believe it is 13 spaces for RCMP officers and keeping those positions filled.
How many are filled?
Exactly. So I think at one time we were down to 4.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Because your detachment's not just doing Carlyle.
No, we have a large regional space to fill. And so when we are considering these against such a force as the oncoming addictions crisis, which is very evident when you arrive in the cities, and it is just boiling under the surface in the small communities. It's because we are kind of I'm missing the word. We have a transient community that can come through Carlyle. We are on that highway. We are that space between two different communities. We have White Bear, First Nations, Pheasant Rump, Arcola, Kenosha
So you're
Lake.
kind of the hub.
We are the hub. And so we see a lot of folks come through who are needing more support than we are able to offer at this time. And so bringing that to the spotlight and keeping your community open and compassionate is also a huge barrier. There's a not in our town attitude, but it is in our town.
Okay, I'm going to ask a very political question, but I think you're ready for it because I feel like you would be able to answer it. What can the province and the federal government do today to help you?
So I heard Premier Mo speak yesterday, and the first thing that stood out to me was they're a very statistics-based party.
Yeah.
And Mo's report card, all good things, right? We're putting this here and we're putting that there and we're checking off this box.
But
there's no heart. There's no heart, and that's something that I've noticed repeatedly in the Sask party's policy. And I'm not going to say one party or the other.
No, trust me, all parties have their issues.
Absolutely. But what we're missing, and then just coming out of Dr. Mate's presentation, and I work in early learning. I am an early childhood educator. I've worked in family services for almost 2 decades now. We are missing heart. We are missing community. We are missing compassion for each other in our policy, because you cannot implement something with cause and effect without this heart, the heart of the people. We are humans. When we turn each other into numbers, we're faceless.
Yeah.
We slide in the crack. What is one number off a stat? Irrelevant.
Okay. I feel like you and I could have a whole conversation about it.
Follow me on social media.
We will, and we will connect to continue this conversation. But I want to flip the question, because every community has its challenges,
yes.
And you're right, we need to solve them. But the one thing we don't often talk about, and I think we should be talking about, is what's going right in the community. What's the opportunity that the community has? What's that X factor that makes your community the community that you are proud of? What is that thing for you?
So when I think about Carlyle, and I came from Regina, I'm going to go back to people. So when I say what we're lacking is compassion and grace and all that, at the same time, where I find it is in my small town. And I feel like our small towns have this advantage because we do have community, grace, compassion, and love for each other. These are our neighbors.
Yeah.
Where we lack is sometimes we're cloistered, like this is our town. And opening up to the world. Now, Carlyle is much more diverse than some communities.
I was going to say, they opened up their hearts to you once you had a child. Just have a child in Carlyle.
And so when I first moved to Carlyle, like the newcomer families coming from overseas to work was kind of just getting going. I was just saying to a friend, I sat at the Lions Supper the other night with families from all around the world.
Oh, wow.
All over the planet coming to Carlyle to work, to settle, raising their kids. Like,
that's awesome.
I could brag about my community all day, just breaking down borders.
Okay, so first off, I promised on this show that if you come on the show, I come to your community. So I'm coming to Carlyle
Absolutely,
this summer.
you are.
What should I do? What is the tourism draw? What you talk about the great tourism spots that you have.
So,
what is that spot that you say, if you come this area, you need to see X, Y, and Z?
Are you free the last weekend in June?
I can be if you tell me I should be down there.
So my husband and I and a team of wonderful people started what is now the largest free street festival in Saskatchewan. Carlyle Fun Days.
I've heard of this.
Darn rights you have, because it's amazing. So
I didn't realize, okay.
That's me.
2 and 2 equals 4 now. Look at this basic math on the show. You get dinner and a show here.
The conversation at the time was like, we need to have something where people can just come. And it's not, you go to the exhibitions in cities and it's $200 to get your family in the door.
Yeah.
And we have this gorgeous main street that's just open. And so we just decide we need an open air festival in here. Everyone just walk down, enjoy the day. We've gotten to the space now where we do have a midway, so it's not entirely free. You do have to buy a wristband for the day, but
Well, you just lost me.
I know, but $40.
Oh, that's a bargain.
$40, and if you wanted to, you could buy a 3-day pass. Like you could stay the whole weekend. So this is the last weekend in June.
Okay.
So I can't remember exactly what the dates are, but it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, we're going to try an entirely dry night. Okay, so this is a no alcohol, substance-free night. Families. We have free entertainment all afternoon, right until midnight. Teagan Little Chief, homegrown, fabulous award-winning Saskatchewan artists will be playing. It's either Tilted Kilts or Twisted Kilts that night.
Okay.
So, and oh gosh, we got Dr. Octopus on Saturday, which is another one you have to. Do you know Dr. Octopus?
I've heard.
Gosh,
Yep.
They're from Winnipeg. Amazing.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say this right on the record right now. I'm coming.
Absolutely.
This year, I'm bringing the show with me.
Are you interested in sitting in the green room with the artists?
I would love to. And chat with all of them.
Gosh.
Promote Carlyle right on live in Carlyle. I will do that right here. If you give me your card, we will arrange that.
Fabulous.
And I will be down there.
There we go. June 27th, 28th, 29th in Carlyle.
There you go. You heard it here first. So June 27th, 28th, 29th, we will be in Carlyle, Saskatchewan for the open air, for the largest the Canadian's largest.
I don't know if it's Canada's, but it's Saskatchewan's largest.
I'm just making things
free
up now.
Festival.
There you go. We will be there to speak to artists, to speak to the mayor. So before I let you go, because I'm cautious of time and we have taken 20 minutes of your time and you are about to go for your lunch here at the 2025 SUMA convention, what makes Carlyle such a unique place to live, work, and raise a family?
I think in Carlyle, it's a space where if you have something you want to add to a community, Carlisle's your opportunity. We have a chance to grow into something that's truly amazing and probably unique on the planet in terms of quality of life. And we would love to have folks who are interested in sharing that dream come to our community.
Well, I will be there. So thank you so much, Mayor, for doing this.
High five.
High five.
Yes,
first high five. Now I hit.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Cross Border Interviews. Now, if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube. We also want to take a moment and thank the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association for allowing us to come and attend this year's convention in Saskatoon, but also record these great interviews on the Cross Border Interviews. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on social media. And if you want to learn more about the communities and the people we feature on this show and our sister shows, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. Your support means the world to us. So share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Cross Border Interviews soon. Till then.